everybody? Welcome to Eagles Pregame Live here at EOP, talking top matchups to watch. 5 keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles against the Arizona Cardinals. Guys, if you're watching this live, please be sure to comment your vibes, your thoughts on today's game. Joining us, he is Matty B at Philly, Matt B7 on X. What's up, dude?
I just want to let you guys know I am reporting in, okay? I am eligible. I am reporting in right now. So just to be straight, okay?
It depends if Jerry Jones' check clears. But
Jeez. Good God.
Yeah. What? I'm not sure I heard that. But also joining us is Big Al Zafiri. Give him a follow on X at Big Al EOP. What's up, Al?
What's going on, gentlemen? Another beautiful last Sunday of 2023, last day of 2023, and hopefully we end this week off with another Eagles victory.
Absolutely, man. Guys, if you are new to the show, please consider subscribing. We will be here all day long, pregame, halftime, postgame, you name it. It's going to be a long day, shorts out the wazoo, all day long on the top plays, you name it. What's your vibe right now, Matty B? Before we get into matchups, like, that's the thing. Like, this is the vibe check. This is the gut check game. We need to get these Eagles players, coaches back on the same page. How do you feel heading into this Sunday afternoon matchup against the Cardinals?
So first of all, the vibe is 1 o'clock. When did that start again? When are we back to doing 1 o'clock football games? But that's a hard vibe to get used to right off the bat. But the other vibe, the most important vibe, kind of is somewhat concerning because I heard it a lot this week. Based off the Giant game, it was a good first step. Guys, we're in week 17. There should be no first steps in week 17. It should be rounding into form, getting ready for that playoff push. So the vibe is not a good one for me because we're taking good first steps with the Giant game last week. So yes, a concerning, not good vibe.
Yeah. What about you, Al?
I'm still waiting for them to play their best brand of football because that's that term I'm tired of hearing right now. I hate to say this, but I have to agree with Matty B that this week, second to last week in the NFL, and that's your motto. We still haven't played our best brand of football. On a little bit more on the positive side, yes, the Giants game to me wasn't the what we were looking for, but there were some positives taken out of it, and there's some positives with what seems to be the Eagles getting healthy at the right time when maybe some other teams aren't. So, that's why I take every week for what it is. But my vibe is you got to keep winning these games. And I know it seems very unlikely moving forward, but every game builds you an inch closer to the future, hopefully a good future for the Eagles this year.
Yeah, my vibe is we have Quentin chiming in. Same different week, same Quentin. That's what he always does every single week. But the NFL kind of gifted you a win last night for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, it was a violation to cheer for the Dallas Cowboys, but that was significant considering a Eagles defensive line that has played a significant amount of snaps. They are looking pretty good here for a bye, right? I think they have a potential for a bye. So that is good to know. But Al, let's do a quick ad before we get into matchups.
Guys, if you want to head down to the game, you still have a chance. You go to Sherry'sTickets.com. That's right. Sherry'sTickets.com. Great prices, no hidden fees. Sports, concerts, theaters, you name it, they got it. Sherry'sTickets.com. Use that great promo code EOP10 to save additional 10% off already great prices at Sherry'sTickets.com. You're not going to get bamboozled at checkout. There's not going to be extra money to pay at the checkout. Go to Sherry'sTickets.com and use that promo code EOP10 to save 10% off your order.
All right. Wow, that was fast. All right, let's jump right into our Eagles' top matchups against the Cardinals. All right, top matchups of the week here. Eagles versus Cards. Lead us off, Al. What's your matchup?
One of the big matchups is Jalen Hurts versus decision making. That would be a big one for me. You have a really bad Cardinals team all around. Let's be honest; I don't feel like the Cardinals on paper have any over on the Philadelphia Eagles, but it's going to overlap a little bit with my top 5 keys of victory. But a little bit is Jalen Hurts decision making coming against the Cardinals. Don't force anything. Don't try to play hero ball. This is a game where you could just do what you're supposed to do and still rack up a bunch of points and build the confidence that this team needs.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of that, Jalen Hurts going up against Jonathan Gannon. The Cardinals stink, man. They're no good. They rank 32nd in zone coverage, which is kind of shocking considering Gannon's zone match was a huge strength of his when he was the defensive coordinator here in Philadelphia. But you look at the numbers for this Cardinals defense, they don't blitz a lot. And for Jalen Hurts, that's good news. When blitzed this year, Jalen Hurts has 8 touchdowns, 7 picks, a quarterback rating of 83.8. When he's not blitzed, Jalen Hurts is 12 touchdowns, 6 picks, and a QB rating of 93.1. So that's kind of a good bearing considering a lot of the teams the Eagles will be going up against in the playoffs don't necessarily blitz a lot. So yeah, what about you, Matty B?
I'm going to say it's the Eagles versus the turnover, both getting them and forcing them. Forcing them and committing them. I'm sorry. The Eagles have committed 23 turnovers this year. That's like 2 a game, guys. That is not going to cut it in the playoffs, and they've only forced 16. That's 1 a game. I mean, there is such a wide disparity when it comes to that. They got to do better protecting the ball, and they got to do better in getting the ball.
Yeah. I mean, that's key. And we're going to get into Eagles' keys to victory. Until they stop shooting themselves in the foot, it doesn't matter who they play week in to week out. They're always going to give another team a chance, considering how much they struggle to put teams away over and over and over again. I'm looking at this Eagles rushing attack versus the Cardinals run defense. That's the big thing I'm looking at here. You saw last week against the Giants, DeAndre Swift rushed 20 times for 92 yards, good for 4.6 yards per carry and a score. And that's the secret sauce, man. Since 2022, the Eagles have gone 13-0 when its top running back has at least 75 rushing yards. The bad news is Swift has only done it 5 times. And most importantly, they struggle running the football in the second half. You look at last year, they put teams away in the second half. This year, they're in much closer games. And you look at that stretch where the Eagles had, a 3-game losing streak. Swift was only getting 11.7 carries per game. I think the biggest storyline for this Eagles rushing attack, there were some changes last week. It's the return of the Eagles 12 personnel, which they ran 46% of the time last week against the Giants. That's a significant higher amount than we're used to seeing them run. What does that mean? You got to keep your eye on it because the Eagles were one of the best zone gap running teams in the NFL last year. This year, they have fallen off. They're bottom tier in the NFL. They're just not an effective run blocking team. And it starts up front with their offensive line. They kind of got back to it with the pistol and different things like that last week against the Giants. I want to see more of that. Anybody else have any other matchups to watch?
I got another one. Kyler Murray versus the Eagle linebacker. Listen, it's no secret. The Cardinals come into this game with 15 players either on IR or out. It's pretty much Kyler Murray and James Conner. That's pretty much what the Eagles are going to have to be dealing with today. And if Kyler Murray can get out in space, I'm not talking about his arm, but if Kyler Murray can get out of space, I know he's dealing with an illness. Once again, it's going to create a lot of matchup problems. It's going to create a lot of issues for that Eagle linebacking core that's much maligned as it is now. The addition of Maddox today might help that, but they got to keep Kyler Murray between the hash marks.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of that, onto that, Kyler Murray was just seen walking in to the link wearing a Sidney Crosby Penguins jersey. So
Lord.
It's officially on.
Yeah, why would you do that? I mean,
I don't get it. Is he from Pittsburgh? That makes no sense.
I mean, do you want it? I don't get that.
I mean, obviously, the other matchup to watch is some of these Cardinals playmakers against the Eagles secondary. From what I saw, Hollywood Brown is out. He's kind of like he was their main.
Everybody's out.
Everybody's out.
Teams with such with injury, man. Woo.
It's crazy, man. Jonathan Ledbetter, defensive lineman, out. Looking at if I missed anybody, but yeah, the Eagles secondary has been gashed all season long. Just kind of going through some guys to know. Trey McBride, a blossoming star, definitely need to know him. Really interesting prospect we covered last year. Greg Dortch, another slot receiver, kind of is good on those short routes. Change of direction skills. Rondale Moore, kind of a gadget dude. Michael Wilson, kind of a nobody, but I guess the big thing is the rotation at cornerback because Avonte Maddox make his return here for the Philadelphia Eagles for the first time and feels like forever. So, yeah.
And you're going to see Landon Dickerson back today, too. Don't forget. That's a big thing, a big change on the O-line that we saw a need for last game.
Absolutely. So that's good news. Avonte's back. Expect him in the slot. And that's about it. Anybody else have any other matchups to watch?
Yeah, Eagles versus the red zone. Again, we got to do better in that area. 2 for 5 last week. It was trending in a better way over the last 5 weeks. Before, earlier in the season, it was very inconsistent. Now it's starting to kind of dip there. They're less than 60% now effective in the red zone. I hate to say, let's look past this game and next week's game for the playoffs. But if you're going to go into the playoffs and you're less than 60% in the red zone, that's not good. They got to figure out their red zone. Again, week 17, and we're saying they got to figure things out. I don't get that, but it is what it is. But they got to get better in the red zone. They got to get back to that trending in the right direction when it comes to that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I agree with Matty B on that wholeheartedly. If we can't capitalize on scoring events, it doesn't matter who you play or when you play them. It's going to be a short playoff run if things continue in that trend. And that's areas that I guess the good part that I look at, these are areas that can be fixed in a short amount of time, but they have to be. Can they look internally and say, what are we doing wrong to fix it? And if they're not making the changes and just doing the same thing over and over again, that's the self-inflicted wounds that we talk about.
Absolutely. All right, let's do a quick ad, and then we'll get into our top 5 keys to victory.
Guys, I tell you all the time about PhillySportsTrips.com, and you know what? They have some great trips coming up. I know this is what I'm going to want to be at. I most likely will be at is February 17th, the Outdoor Stadium Series. Flyers will take on the Devils on February 17th. What an inexpensive trip. Ticket, food, travel. Just a great time with PhillySportsTrips.com. I think you can still sign up for the last Eagles road trip, which would be next Sunday, January 7th, to the same MetLife Stadium. Unless you're trying to hit a little bit warmer times, so you can get a couple different spring training trips in. They have a Sixers West Coast trip in March as well, even the UK trip for the Phillies, and a lot of the Phillies trips up for the coming year. So you can go sign up now. These are great, inexpensive ways to have an amazing time following your favorite team to great exotic locations. Check it out, PhillySportsTrips.com.
All right, guys, let's jump right in to our top 5 Eagles keys to victory.
Don't you feel it? Sweetness and light for my restless mind. Please give me a way to escape this world gone astray. You could give me a little peace of mind in these troubled times.
5 Eagles keys to victory. Lead us off, Al.
All right. It's like I told you, it's going to have a little overlap to what we were just talking about. But let's start with this. Back to the basics for me. Pound the ball, set up the pass. I'm not sitting there telling you got to run the ball 99% of the time. I'm also not telling you you don't. It's a balance. Everything's about balance. Do small things to earn small victories that can add up to a major victory. Let's put a team away for once this year and make everybody feel a little bit warmer inside. But I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the players. My other key to victory is Nick Sirianni. Can he right the ship? Because right now the ship is a little on its side, and can he bring back that dog mentality that this team had early on? No matter when the team, whoever they were playing, whenever they were playing, they never seemed out of it. Except lately, they never seemed in it. Can he right the ship and bring it back to that one? That's my other one. Getting the D line back on track, that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Watching a lot of Shane's breakdowns, watching the All 22 on my own. One key thing I could say is like teams are learning to expose the rookiness of like Jalen Carter and stuff like that. They're keeping them out of their defensive lanes. They are making them pursue and pushing them out of the play, opening up major gaps and taking away that this team. Remember this time last year we were just boasting how 70 sacks on the year. We're hitting 40. That's a huge drop off, a big no-no, and it's taking away from the ability to have turnovers. My other key to victory is the self-inflicted wounds. We've talked about it already. It is a big one. If we can keep these self-inflicted wounds, and that kind of goes with, back to basics. Stop putting yourself into situations that cause you to shoot yourself in the foot and cause diversity on the team. That's a big one. And my thing is, can Avonte Maddox make this secondary somewhat improved? I mean, I know there's no Darius Slay. Bradbury has been Bradbury. But some of the young guys have stepped up with the adding of Avonte Maddox. Can Matt Patricia at least upgrade this secondary a little bit?
All right. What about you, Matty B?
So in words of the overlay, it's going to be a lot of that because I think it's everyone's keys to victory are nesting together. But I only have three of them, so I'm going to go with the three. I mentioned the red zone. We got to score in the red zone. You got to score. I don't care who you're playing. You got to put the ball in the end zone. Again, going on with Al, my number two key to victory is mental mistakes, penalties. So far right now, the Eagles have committed 88 penalties for 728 yards. That averages out to about 6 penalties and 50 yards a game. It's way too much. You got to get that thing down. And again, we're talking week 17 here. I don't know what really the answer is. And somebody on this team, I don't care who it is, somebody be a goddamn leader. This team is a leaderless vessel right now. AJ Brown, take the C off your chest. You don't deserve it. Darius Slay, take that C off your chest. You don't deserve it. Jalen Hurts, I don't know, man. You're kind of starting to get me wondering a little bit about your leadership ability. Where the hell is Jason Kelsey? Where is Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham? Somebody be the voice in the wilderness and be the leader of this team. And my number one key to Eagles victory, it's the friggin' Cardinals, for God's sakes. There should be no questions here. They should win.
Yep, period.
Real quick, guys, for those who, just a little, Adam Schefter just tweeted this out.
Okay.
We're going to be watching a couple things here. Commanders QB Jacoby Brissett will be inactive and emerging third quarterback today. The 49ers will be the Commanders will be starting Sam Hell against the 49ers, and Jake Fromm will be his backup. Yes, I said Jake Fromm.
My top 5 keys to victory. Number 5, keep Keely Ringo growing. Al, you touched on Avonte Maddox. I thought Ringo has given them some good snaps these last couple of weeks. We all know the James Bradbury story. He's been torched all season long. The fact that you have a kid in Keely Ringo, 51 snaps against the Giants. He had 32 against the Seahawks. Great athleticism. It's popped off the screen every week. I want to see more of that. He's been doing a really good job out there, and that's huge, especially come playoff time, if you can get him more and more and more reps. Number 4 for me, keep the Cardinals out of the red zone. Matty B, you touched on that, and this is one of the sneaky stats of today. Shockingly, the Cardinals they're the 4th best team in the NFL in red zone scoring, which is like, considering like offensively how bad they are across the board. This is a decent team, and if the Eagles do struggle to get the Cardinals offense off the field, they could put up some points, and that's a problem considering the Eagles' red zone defense is 29th in the NFL. Get the Cardinals out of the red zone. Number 3, put this team away in the first half. The Cardinals suck. 26th in points, 29th in points allowed. But the Eagles, like you guys say, keep shooting themselves in the foot. They're -7 in turnover differential. Those are all the things that cannot come during playoff time. And let's move in a positive direction today against the Arizona Cardinals. Number 2, play 60 minutes. This is a team that, we have yet to see it, to be honest. Like, what was it, the Dolphins game maybe? No, even the Dolphins game had some lapses, I believe. But we haven't seen it. So play 60 minutes, and that goes into my number 1. Get the good vibes back. This team, players, coaches, they're frazzled. They're I'm not going to say they're broken, but there's a lot of rumors out there. There's a lot of like media trying to create headlines out of nothing, probably. But for me, get it. I know it means nothing, and to be honest, to be blunt, whatever the Eagles do today and next week against the Giants, overall, doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. What does mean, though, I want to get the good vibes back. I want to get this team moving in the right direction, and most importantly, stay healthy. If you can get that bye, if you can get this Eagles D-line rested, because they have been absent in recent weeks. They have been playing the most amount of snaps by far in many of their careers. So that's my 5 keys to victory. Al, do you have any other ads you want to read?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's remember CherryInjuryLaw.com. Dave Terry is the man that will fight for your rights. You get hurt at work, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law, you name it, he will fight for your rights. That's CherryInjuryLaw.com, or simply call Dave directly at 610-565-0300. Again, 610-565-0300. Workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law, he will fight for your rights. David R. Cherry, the Cherry Firm at CherryInjuryLaw.com.
All right, now we get into score predictions and player of the game predictions. Lead us off, Matty B.
So I really kind of went back and forth on this all week long, and on my show, usually I do with Kyle Quinn. I didn't get Kyle this week, but I'm going to go 28-17 Eagles, and Jake Elliott is my player of the game because I have no faith in anybody else other than Jake Elliott. So I'm going to go 28-17, but I can definitely see a 30-0 Eagles victory, and I can also see a 30-0 Cardinal victory. And that's really what's the most kind of revealing part of all of it, is that I can see all spectrums and all areas of the spectrum.
Absolutely. That's a totally fair take. It's ironic, right? We're week 17, I believe, and the most intact, the most efficient group on this roster is the special teams. Jake Elliott, who's probably the MVP of this team, Braden Mann, Britton Covey, who's had a terrific season. I think we can put that to bed. He's been a great returner. Al, what's your prediction and what's your player of the game?
As me and Matty B talked on our last post-game show on Christmas, I've been definitely taking a wait-and-see mentality with this team over the last few weeks, and will continue to do so. But the prediction should be 33-14 Eagles, and 14 is just a junk touchdown. Yeah. But I am taking a wait-and-see mentality. Player of the game, I don't even know where to start where the player of the game should be. But I'm actually hoping it's just Jalen Hurts, because there's definitely a confidence issue with him. And if he's having a good game, that means A.J. Brown's having a good game, and then Smith's having a good game, Goddard's having a good game. Because if all those guys have a good game, I believe it just really rights the ship. We talked about getting things corrected.
Yeah, for me, it's DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift, this definitely writes as a very good game. I want to see this Eagles offensive line cement themselves as the best in the NFL, like we're used to seeing the last couple of years. Get into that second, third level. I want to see Landon Dickerson driving people, Jason Kelsey driving people into those second levels. That's where I want. That's the element of this football team that could make me feel good today. If we see some of that get back. Again, it is the Cardinals, and they have a horrible run defense. But I'll go DeAndre Swift as my player of the game. I'm not wavering. Sometimes I do. So we do our shows on Tuesdays. Sometimes my gut and vibe changes how, depending on the week goes. You look at the Cardinals, they're losing a lot of people. I'm going to stick with my initial prediction. I'm going to go 31-13. Philadelphia Eagles get the W here and Yeah, I agree, Matty B. It's a shot in the dark. You know, they don't beat up anybody. They don't take care of the football when they should. They don't put leads away. They don't put teams away when they should. It's all there. And those are all little areas that they need to fix. And those are all areas that's what made them great in 2022. And I guess a good team, not a great team in 2023. Any final thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, one other thing, and let's not lose sight of what today is. I mean, today's New Year's Eve. It's also the last regular season home game. Give the people a good show. Send them out into the streets of South Philadelphia at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, happy and ready to really launch into their New Year's Eve celebration.
Absolutely. Let's throw it around. Final thoughts, Eagles versus Cards, Al. Plugs, time is yours.
Final thoughts are just put them away. I mean, you got Jonathan Gannon here who will probably likely get booed walking in here. Kyler Murray wore a Sidney Crosby jersey just moments ago. Just make it uncomfortable for them. Because the one thing I've seen, especially over the last 4 or 5 games, maybe even 6 games, everybody brings it to the Eagles. It just doesn't seem like the Eagles bring it to them. The I'm going to just, not saying blitz, but just bring in the house. Reckless abandonment, the whole 9 yards, whatever term you want to use. They just don't seem to do it anymore. We'll start doing it. You bring it to them, set the tone, and like Matty B, give them a great last ditch of the year going away present for the home team or the home fans, and just have an amazing time and set the tone. And maybe people will start saying, "Ooh, the Eagles are the team we don't want to see in the playoffs." Who would have thought the number 2 team right now in the playoff scheme would be like the first team everybody wants to see, because they just seem disconnected. So reconnect. You know, if anybody's played any level of football, there's those not get right games, but those you know, they start you off at the beginning of the season with those lesser teams and you just beat up on them. Well, this is that time. Beat up on them and assert your dominance. And I'm Big Al. Check me out at Big Al EOP on Twitter. And Happy New Year from all of us at Edge of Philly Sports.
Yeah, what's on the menu for Big Al's family today?
You know what? We are on New Year's. We're big appetizer people.
Yeah,
it's like picky food. So there'll be a lot of different like pigs in a blanket type situation, like just appetizer type stuff, just to spread for us to enjoy.
Awesome. Matty B, final thoughts, Eagles versus Cards, plugs?
Yeah, well, again, you can find me all over the Edge of Philly Sports. I host my own show on Mondays. Actually, it was Saturday yesterday, but it's typically on Mondays. We'll be back live tomorrow night, 8 p.m. So I'll be the voice of your new year, talking Philly Sports with Matty B, as well as on the Clear the Ice, which I'll be hosting tonight, the Flyers post-game show after the Calgary Flame game. And then all over everywhere else, again, at Philly Matt B7 on X. Real quick, it's the Cardinals. It's the friggin' Cardinals. No disrespect to the Arizona Cardinal fans, the 7 of you. I don't mean any disrespect, but it is the Cardinals. I know the last Arizona team that came through this town, well, they weren't very good to us. So let's hope we can reverse that trend. There's concern. I mean, I guess is that the word right now we're all using? Concern that is there really going to be a get right situation versus or minus a 60-0 trouncing of the Cardinals? As everybody's still kind of going to pick at this team for every little bit of thing they do. Is that making these players a little bit more on guard and on edge and making them think a little bit more? Is this all starting to kind of blow up in everybody's face? I don't know. They should win today. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. Style points definitely count. They do count. I'm sorry to say, right now they count for this team, and it comes to this fan base and their own confidence. So, yeah, they should win. And by the way, food is a crutch, so there is nothing on tap for me.
Oh my God, this guy! Only Matty B can ruin food for people. I'm just gonna point that out. You must be fun when you take your girlfriend out on a date.
I was in the Army for 30 years. There was many times where I was told that legitimately, that food is a crutch. Trust me.
Yeah, well, then now being out of it, you should be like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Now I can have it. I need to have it more. So,
well, of course, yeah. I mean,
I'm the resident fat guy, so of course I'm going to.
We've got a split pea and ham soup going on in the oven right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it smells so good right now. We're doing like the little like crab cake, appetizers, pigs in a blanket types of stuff. Can't beat it. But yeah, like put this team away. Let's have a fun New Year's Eve, everyone. Put this team away in the first half. Let's get back to that 2022 brand of football, and let's be happy. Let's be positive. Let's end this regular season at home on a positive with good vibes. AJ Brown, touchdown in the end zone, all that kind of fun stuff. Plugs, if you love the NFL draft, tons and tons of NFL draft content on the channel. We've been pumping them out the last few weeks, and more to come with the college football playoff semifinals tomorrow, reaction shows, and college football playoff championship preview on the way for sure. We are doing our top 10 interior offensive linemen. You voted for it on our channel. So it's funny. We every single show of these, we've been doing top 10 positional rankings for the NFL draft. We went through the entire defensive side of the football. If that once, and people have been voting for that. So if that tells you where the areas of need are for this Eagles team, it's the defense. We've only done offensive tackle, and now we'll be doing interior offensive linemen. So people aren't really worried about the playmaker skill positions that much here. So guys, go check that out. There's like 4 to 5 minute scouting reports on some of my favorite players, and it's just going to continue to add and develop into big boards and more top 10 ratings and things like that. So go check that out. We will be back at halftime, me and Shane, top reactions, grades, all that and more during the break. Who's on postgame today?
Our host for postgame, you're looking at him in your right-hand corner, Matty B. I believe also you got Pat Bernard and the Mitch.
Yeah, it's Mitch.
Yeah,
okay.
Mitch. So yeah, you're gonna have one hell of a reactionary type show. Let's put it that way.
Let's hope so.
It'll be fun. And also, there's one thing we didn't mention either. The Cardinals are chasing the Panthers via the Bears for that number 1 overall pick. So is it in the Cardinals' best interest to win this game?
Yeah, true. Very true.
I mean, listen, if you look at who they're not playing, I mean, even they have Kyler Murray as questionable with an illness earlier in the week. So, I mean, they are not trying to win. I think the only person who's probably going to try to win and prove that he can win with anybody will be Jonathan Gannon, trying to prove himself to Philly that he wasn't as bad as people made him out to be.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please consider subscribing. Smash that like button if you want an easy Eagles W on New Year's Eve. He is Matty B at Philly Matt B7 on X. Go give Al a follow at Big Al EOP. I'm Dives, Mr. Crockpot. We'll see you at halftime. For Matt, for Al, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.